Hi, Joe.
Hello.
How are you?
How are you? Happy birthday for the other day.
Oh, thank you. Thanks.
All right, so I'm
Hey
just
Joe,
letting it.
can you hear me?
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
in.
perfect.
We're gonna have to tell Larry Sack to come off. I call it decloaking, to use a Klingon term. There he is. He decloaked.
I want to put my glasses on to see everyone. Bob, how are you?
I am great. What a terrific show, Joseph. And it was really inspirational. I look forward to actually watching it again.
Thank you. We had fun. You're a good interviewer, Joseph. Gee, you do a
Yeah,
great job.
listen, I'm making it up as I go along. But
No, but it was very, it was a lot of fun and smooth and emotional, and it was, I really enjoyed it. Thank you very
oh,
much.
thank you. No, look, I mean, it's been an interesting process of learning, how to do this. I never did this before, and then I just started this streaming thing about 2 months ago, and they're like little things I'm picking up along the way. But at the end of the day, it helps when you have a connection to the person you're interviewing, and it doesn't take too much over engineering, but it takes a little bit of heart as well. Um, and I'm learning as well, and it's also amazing what this like what you've done with your virtual rig with two different cameras. It's amazing what technology has allowed us to do. Like you with that wave in the background. Just watch out because it's breaking. So just you
Break
might need
right
to
in.
adjust.
I just got my second webcam back. I had loaned it out to some folks to try it. I'm always trying to get people to sort of up their ante a little bit. So I always hand out equipment when I can, and
Yours looks great.
I've been wanting to come have another camera for some reason, but I haven't exactly figured out where to fit it in. So
I always say up the nostrils is always good.
oh man, I have seen some awful ones, but
That's
I
where
sure
I
do like.
started.
Yeah, I remember. I do like the breaking wave in the background. That one's pretty good. Yeah, holy cow. So can I just ask you? I mean, that's a good example. When I saw the picture, the video at the very beginning, that was the first time I'd actually been exposed to your surfing experience, and I just thought, man, I would never have the nerve to be able to do that. I just couldn't possibly do it. Did you have that fear and overcame that fear, or did you resonate with the wave? I used to fly airplanes. I've built a bunch of different types of airplanes and through the years, and I know that people will say the same thing to me. How do you dare fly so high, or how do you dare do that? And when you have trust in what you've done and your experience in flying, I've hundreds of hours of flying time under my belt, so you approach it a little bit differently. But man, I just looked at that wave and I thought, there is no way I could possibly do that. How did you do it? How did you pull it off?
Okay, so I'm going to answer in the form of a poem. This is the greatest poem ever written about flight. And it wasn't written by exuberance. So a lonely impulse of delight drove me to this tumult. I balanced all, brought all to mind. The years to come seem waste of breath in balance with this life, this death. You know that poem?
No, I am not familiar with
So
it.
that poem was written by W.B. Yeats, and that's just a part of the poem. And it's called An Irish Airman Foresees His Death. And it's about the sensation and how a lonely impulse of delight drives us. Like what fundamentally drives us in life? And I said, we want to be better, that I've seen, and we want to help others be better. But that pure form of passion for self is also, it helps you overcome that fear. And certainly in the early days of my surfing, you have that progression, you have that exhilaration first that really grips you. and becomes part of you. And that's your sort of overriding desire to keep going. And then ultimately, as you get better and better, you start getting into these situations that are sort of dangerous, and they're mitigated by your skill level, just like with your flying, your skill level and your experience. But there is that unpredictability in the surf, which is why you were talking, Joseph, like, you know, surfing's got a cool factor, but also it has this factor of being unknown, mysterious, part of the food chain. Rogue wave can come up like the wave behind me. So there is this element. What you do is not bounded by a white line. It's not like a baseball court. It's not basketball. It's not golf. There's no par. There's no score. It has this sort of magnitude, expansiveness. Yes, freedom. You mentioned the word freedom is very much a part of it, but it's like the unknown. And every time I step out there, you're part of that unknown. And a lot of people are starting to get into surfing now in a later stage in their life, both men and women. And they do it because it represents freedom, and it's also about empowerment. So it's almost like this existential challenge. And when people get up on a board for the first time, they feel empowered, they feel liberated, they feel free, but also like they've overcome this amazing sort of fear. Like when I was surfing at my best, I felt that I could curve the wall to my will. I felt I could control the wave. It's a sort of a psychological phenomenon. They call it flow. This Hungarian psychologist called Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi developed it. I've met him a number of times and spoken with him and had discussion with him. A great man. But this sensation of freedom and being in absolute control and having this intense focus, it's just awesome. It's so brilliant, and it's like one of the best parts of the surf experience.
That's so powerful. By the way, my brother-in-law, Damon Hoff, a Durbanite. I don't know if you ever remember any Hoffs from Durban, but he WhatsApped me and he said, "Man, firstly, you stole my line. I feel like I've known him forever." So, and that's another Durbanite, Durbs by the sea.
Oh, I have such fond memories.
And now we're not even sure when we can go back, if at all.
Definitely. I can see someone sort of walking through somewhere. Terry.
That's my wife who decloaked, because you know it took you to decloak her. Wait,
she's muted. She's muted.
I don't know if she wants me to unmute. Should I unmute you?
She's talking.
Hold on. I asked her to unmute. Let's see if that works.
There you go. Yeah, Sammy's watching you too.
That's my little dog.
Oh, that dog is just like our dog, Buddy. That looks like a miniature golden doodle. We love that.
Wait.
What dog is that?
He's a Morkie.
He's a Morkie. A Yorkie and a Maltese.
Oh, okay. Beautiful. I love it.
I also have a Morgie.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So Shaun, that was absolutely incredible to hear you speak. I mean, I remember the days of coming to Durban with my friends and, you know, being inspired and, you know, loving every minute of the Gunston 500. But just to hear you speak and your life story, it was really amazing.
Oh, thank you very much.
Indeed. Shaun, do you remember, I don't know if you remember me, I used to be Michelle Gass. I dated Tommy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for a long time. And we used to hang out at the Gunston and remember Dante's? Oh, Dante's.
Dante's Milk Bar, yeah.
It's good to see you again, and I really did enjoy your presentation. It's great hearing you speak.
It's been a lot of fun.
It's actually funny you say presentation, because I still have people that are texting me now and they go, enjoyed yesterday's webinar. And I'm like, this is not a freaking webinar. It's a show. This is a professionally produced show in my home office with a green screen. Give me a break. And myself and my $60 per month subscription. But isn't it amazing, like Shaun, what's possible now?
Yeah, it's really I mean, it blows my mind. So I see Joseph and Larry.
Yeah, Joey Dumont is quiet today. Cat got your tongue, Joey.
Well, my kids are dancing around in the background, and I'm just a little. Joseph has had a wonderful 9 weeks, and I've spent I think I've missed 2 episodes of his show and of his webinar. And I just got to tell you that this was my favorite show. You're an amazing human being. I've never met you. I've never checked you out your surfing. I have no idea who you are. And I'm just blown away. I went to your website. Yeah, I mean, you're a mensch, and thank you for doing what you're doing to help people. And I love how simple your ideas are, right? I want to help people. I will help people, and I will help myself, and I'll help others. I mean, that's unbelievably simple. And I think that, to me, is what someone else said, that it wasn't just inspirational, it was actually instructional. And this was amazing. So thank you so much, sir. It was awesome.
And where are you coming from? California?
I live in San Francisco. Yeah, San Francisco.
Great place. And then I see we have Larry.
Hey, Shaun, how you doing? I'm in Durban.
Where are you?
I'm in Durban.
Oh, amazing. How cool is that?
Just in a place that you might have heard of called Umhlanga.
Very much so. Love Umhlanga.
So, Shaun, a couple of things. First of all, a few anecdotes. I remember standing for my 6 years in high school looking at the Springboks board at Carmel College every year. There was only one name on it until the school closed down, I think, in 1996, and that was yours. So that was, I think, everybody's inspiration to be the second name on the list, and no one actually quite got there. The second thing I want to say is that background, Joe, that's behind you. I went for a walk there yesterday, and it was quite an experience to look at the beach with not one soul on it. Even the piers were closed off for people to go wandering.
Wow.
That time brings back a lot of memories. I remember I used to keep all the T-shirts from every year. It was my one thing that I suppose with my 2 left feet and not being able to be a surfer, was my one connection was to buy the Gunston 500 T-shirt when I came down every year to watch. And unfortunately, my wife at the time threw them all out when they finally developed holes. They weren't made as they used to be. Just on a more serious note, I'm a recovering addict, and one of the challenges I think that most addicts go through is,
thanks for sharing,
not necessarily the easy part is the inspiration by reading the words that you ask people to write down, and yet this positive feeling that comes from expressing verbally what your goals are. But the hardest part is picking yourself up when the going isn't so good. You know, when life deals you a bad deck of cards that are pretty much out of your control. I guess I'm trying to ask you, sort of, how do you deal with those? You know, you're a very positive guy and you seem to have a smile on your face. In my mind, you've always got a smile on your face. But I take it that there's those days when you get up and things don't go so well. And to what extent you're able to use your mantras to pick yourself up?
Well, I did a live stream on Friday for a group in Amanzimtoti I mentioned, for 11 people, and everyone wrote their codes and shared them, and then if you go on my LinkedIn page, you'll see there everyone selected one line, which became almost like a group code. They called it our code and created a beautiful image. And one of the women wrote these 3 words, and these are most probably the most powerful words that that one can read. And I've worked in prisons, and when inmate writes this too, it's an amazing declaration. I will forgive. And sometimes people will write, I will forgive myself. Those words are like mind-blowing, because there is so much gravity behind those words. And yes, you know, you might hear me talk, and yes, I really enjoy the process, and I really enjoy sharing my process. But like you, I've suffered too. And life is not always bright. But hope is always there, and the fire of hope burns within us. And I think as Jews, there is a genetic disposition to having a brighter flame than perhaps others. And I think there is a DNA connection there. You know, if you read Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, I'm sure you've read that amazing book. There's a hope there. And what I've found is this process that I don't like to say I developed, because I think God gave me this process, this code. When you write your words down and you make that commitment, that promise to yourself, and things go sideways, I would read my code when I lost my beautiful boy and suffered, and my wife and I were suffering, and I would read my own words. I will always paddle back out. What do you think that meant to me? I will know that there will always be another wave. It was like I'd written my words before I'd had a dreadful tragedy in my life. And those words were my solace. They were my way forward. And yes, I'm a positive person. But there are those negative waves that feel like they're going to overwhelm you. And my words were my way forward. And I would strongly suggest you write your words and they're your way forward. I have had so many people, psychiatrists, psychologists, come up to me and say, hey, Shaun, you know, I have people, I don't know if you know this, but people walk into my practice carrying your book. I'm going, I didn't know that. They say yes, because it's hope. It represents hope. And that is the core, as I see it, in wanting to make a change. You've got to have the hope, man. And your words can give you hope. And finding your purpose in the context of just writing 12 lines, every line beginning with I will, can give you hope. Because every single one of those statements is a hopeful statement. Like Joseph, right in the beginning, he mentioned that he'd written, I will try. Hey, try's bullshit. Try ain't going to cut it. I will are words of absolutely pure commitment. And he realized it. I will are words of commitment. You write those words down, and yes, it is one tool to help you in your way forward. And certainly there's a lot of other tools and a lot of other family support and faith. But this is a powerful tool. And I encourage you, like, use this tool. Write your 12 lines, 20 minutes. Write it with your family and keep it. It's definitely a wonderful, wonderful intervention that can help you.
I think I'm gonna close it down in just a couple minutes. Not because I want to, but because I have to. I just realized I have another call. But I think that one of the things I'm going to take away from this is I was obviously very connected to the idea of a family code too, and I'm going to find out more about it. And I think it's just so important, especially with us now sheltering in place and all this time we've spent at home, is to pursue that path and do it inclusively and collectively, and see where that takes us. But I just give the floor to anyone else who wants to just make a quick statement. I see just hello to Saul over there. who's logged in, I think, in 3 different devices. So you're getting us in triple stereo. So hope you've enjoyed it. You don't have to say anything. Just want to acknowledge you. But if anyone wants to have a last couple of words, otherwise, I just want to thank Shaun for this this moment. It was truly spectacular.
Well, great, guys. Thanks so much for having me. And hook up with me on LinkedIn. Just connect with me on LinkedIn if you want any comments from me, or you want to be connected. I'm very active on LinkedIn. I'm always I post every couple of days. I like to think that my posts are interesting and impactful. So connect up. I love to connect with people.
I will do that.
Another great show. Thanks.
Yeah,
Joseph,
thanks
for
so
what you're
much,
doing,
both of you.
Thanks,
making this
guys.
all
Joe,
work.
well done.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Stay safe, everybody.
Thanks, Joseph.
Okay.
And watch
Bye.
out for that wave behind you. It's still making me nervous.
Take care. Cheers.
Bye.